The city never slept that night. Police helicopters circled overhead. News channels interrupted every program to report on the mysterious attempted robbery at the National Reserve Bank. According to the police, nothing had been stolen. According to Atlas, everything had. Inside the abandoned clock tower, silence filled the room. Echo looked at Atlas and asked, "What do we do now?" Atlas didn't answer immediately. Instead, he unfolded a worn city map and placed it on the table. He pointed to a small red circle. The notebook wasn't the real target, Atlas said. The crew stared at him. Ghost frowned and asked, "Then why did we risk everything for it?" Atlas took a deep breath. "Because I knew someone else would steal it." The room fell silent. Forge stepped forward and asked, "You plan for us to lose it?" Atlas nodded. Sometimes the fastest way to find a thief is to let him steal. Meanwhile, the mysterious figure who had escaped with the notebook entered an old warehouse near the docks. He placed the notebook on a wooden table. 10 armed men surrounded him. A tall man wearing black gloves stepped out of the shadows. "Well done," he said. The thief slid the notebook across the table. "You have what you wanted." The man smiled. He slowly opened the notebook. Every page was blank. His smile disappeared. "This isn't the real notebook," he said. The thief's face turned pale. "Impossible," he whispered. The man slammed the notebook shut. Atlas knew we were watching. Back at the clock tower, Locke looked confused. "If that wasn't the real notebook, where is it?" he asked. Atlas smiled for the first time. He reached into his chessboard. Hidden beneath the pieces was another black notebook. "Right here," Atlas replied. Echo laughed in disbelief. "You switched it before Raven entered the bank?" he asked. Atlas nodded. "I never expected to outsmart the police." He paused. "I expected to outsmart the people watching the police." Before anyone could speak, Echo's laptop beeped. He quickly opened the message. His face froze. "Atlas," Echo said quietly. "Someone just hacked my computer." Atlas walked over. On the screen appeared one sentence. "One of your team works for me." No signature, no clues. Only those 7 words. The room instantly changed. Everyone looked at everyone else. Trust disappeared. Ghost broke the silence. "Nobody leaves until we know who the traitor is," he said. Forge shook his head. "If we start accusing each other, we've already lost," Forge replied. Then, a gun clicked. Everyone turned. Locke was pointing a pistol at Atlas. "Give me the notebook," Locke said. Echo stepped back. Raven slowly raised his hands. Atlas remained perfectly calm. "You're not the traitor," Atlas said. Locke blinked. "What?" Atlas looked directly into his eyes. "You're just scared." Locke's hands began to shake. Tears formed in his eyes. "They have my daughter," Locke admitted. The room went silent. "They told me if I didn't betray you," Locke continued, "they would kill her." Nobody spoke. Atlas slowly lowered Locke's gun. "You should have told me from the beginning," Atlas said. Locke looked down. "I didn't think you'd trust me." Atlas answered quietly. "Trust isn't believing someone will never make a mistake. Trust is believing they'll tell the truth before it's too late." Suddenly, the windows exploded. Smoke grenades rolled across the floor. Masked gunmen stormed into the tower. "Move!" one of them shouted. Bullets shattered the old walls. Ghost grabbed the car keys. "Everyone downstairs!" Ghost yelled. The crew escaped through a hidden staircase as gunfire echoed behind them. Minutes later, they reached an underground tunnel beneath the city. The attackers were still following. Atlas stopped running. Echo looked back and shouted, "Why are you stopping?" Atlas handed the real notebook to Echo. "Because they came for me, not for you," Atlas replied. Ghost grabbed Atlas's arm. "We're not leaving you," Ghost said. Atlas smiled. You already proved you're not thieves. The others looked at him in confusion. Atlas continued. This was never about stealing. It was about exposing the people who stole an entire country's future. Police sirens echoed above them. The attackers closed in. Atlas stepped into the middle of the tunnel. He turned to his team one last time. Run, he said. Reluctantly, they disappeared into the darkness. 3 months later, the country woke to shocking headlines. Government ministers resigned. Corrupt judges were arrested. Police commanders faced trial. Billions of stolen dollars were recovered. Everything listed inside the Black Ledger had been anonymously delivered to investigative journalists. No one knew who had sent it. Echo, Forge, Ghost, Raven, and Locke never saw Atlas again. Some believed he had died that night. Others believed he had escaped. No evidence ever answered the question. One rainy evening, Locke visited a small woodworking shop. He had left crime behind forever. Ghost had started a driving school. Echo now worked as a cybersecurity consultant. Forge designed security systems, not to defeat them, but to make them stronger. Raven became a voice actor, finally using his gift honestly. Each of them had discovered something they had never found through crime: peace. As Locke locked the shop for the night, he noticed a small envelope lying outside the door. Inside was a single chess piece, the White King. There was also a handwritten note. Atlas had written, "The greatest heist isn't stealing money," Atlas wrote. "It's stealing back your future from the mistakes of your past." Locke smiled. He looked at the people walking home with their families. For the first time in years, he felt rich, not because he had money, but because he no longer had to look over his shoulder. Sometimes people spend their whole lives chasing fortune, only to lose themselves along the way. But those who have the courage to change often discover that a clear conscience is worth more than any vault on earth.